What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of 27 and Q alongside the shirtless two-time Super Bowl champ, former running back from the New York Football Giants, my guy, Brandon Jacobs. I'm Rich Quinones. It has been a minute, my man. How you been, brother?
Doing pretty good, man. Made the move over here to Beaufort, obviously. I think we've done a show since then. My kid is loving it, man. Great high school program, one of the best in the country. So we good, man. We're just here, waiting for the season to start.
What are you getting ready for training camp or what?
No, I just finished cutting
Slim.
the grass. It's hot as hell out there, man.
Look,
I just finished cutting the grass to do my own grass, man.
well, I mean, you're a man among the people. I'm just saying, you look like
Yeah.
you trimmed down a little bit, man.
I've been done. Started taking my workouts a little bit more serious
Good.
late. Hmm.
Good. That's good, man. Hey, it's all about staying sharp in the game, is it not, right? So football
Absolutely.
around the corner. We get a special Saturday edition. I love catching up with my guy, of course, 27 and Q. All right. So our Saturday edition, we got plenty of time to get into football. We got to talk a little sweet science. We got to talk a little boxing in our wheelhouse. There we go. Look at that with the jab and the hook, and he's moving around. There we go. He's in shape. He's ready.
Yeah.
All right. So Canelo, yes, Charlo, but we got different Charlo, the other Charlo, not Jamel Charlo and Canelo are going to face off in Vegas late September. So you got pretty much Charlo on all four belts at 154. Obviously, Alvarez, super middleweight title, holds four belts, contested at a $168 for Canelo's undisputed championship. I mean, I to me, this was a little bit of a curveball, right? Because we were kind of expecting his brother to take on Canelo, but hasn't fought since I think June of 2021, not in the quote best shape. And it's interesting because he's also the WBC champ at 160. So I mean, any buzz with this fight in your eyes? I mean, it's not like Spence Crawford, but what's your thoughts or sentiments on this one?
I got Charlo. I mean, I think it's clear. Well, I can't say that. Charlo's coming up from 154. I'm not sure why he's doing that. To 68.
Yeah, catch weight contested it. Yep.
I'm not really sure why he's. I mean, I'm not sure if it's just the money he want to fight for. And Canelo's not that big of a person. He's not that big a dude. You know, he might walk around at 175. Might. I don't think he walks around at any heavier than that. He's a compact guy.
Yep.
I mean, he's been in wars. He's been in way tougher fighters than Charlo has been, and he's seen the best of the best. But even after he's seen the best of the best, he's still been beat since then. So I don't know. I don't know how to call this one. You know, I think Charlo got I guess the reach. You know, I guess the size advantage as far as the reach is concerned. But just a better overall polished skill fighter, I got to go with Canelo there. But I'm not sure how that fight is going to take place. I'm not sure.
So it's second fight for Canelo coming back since that wrist surgery. Remember the first one he defeated John Ryder. As for Charlo, one loss on his resume, and that was against Tony Harrison, who was able to get to the body and move him around really well against him. I mean, this to me, I'm just a little curious. So you're looking at one opponent, he falls out. Let me grab the brother. I'll take the fight. Okay, fine. I mean, could there have been better opposition for Canelo in that regard?
No, I think he could have faced off against the guy who beat him. Yeah, I think he could have did that again, but I'm not sure he want that smoke again. That was too big for him, and I don't know if he's willing to go back up. I'm not sure if he's willing to go back down that road. But other than that, it's really boxing is really dried up, man. Boxing is really dried up. Like outside of 135 pounds, there is no boxing.
Well, you don't no buzz in 147?
147-pound boxing is sorry as hell, man. You got two guys standing there who should have fought last year, bickering and arguing at each other, saying who fought the tougher fighter. Well, guess what? I like Bud, right? But either one of you son of a bitches fought a tougher fighter. All right, I think Errol's fought. He fought Ugas, who's to me, beat a washed up Pacquiao. So I can't give him no credit for that. You know,
Yeah.
Ugas when he beat a washed up Kell Brook, who
Yep.
should have fought
Yep.
a while ago. I mean, a
Porter,
small
Brook,
Mikey
and Khan.
Garcia,
Yep.
a
Yep.
small Mikey Garcia. Uh, like the list goes on. I think Mikey Garcia came up from 35 to fight him. 40, it can't, went all the way up to 47 to fight Errol Spence. So
Yeah.
let's call a spade a spade. Now, either one of you guys, Errol Spence or Terence Crawford, has fucking fought anybody. So get in the ring and fight and finally be that biggest fight of your career with each other.
Well, two things. It's very rare fighters of, say, their caliber, their resume, or the all-time greats kind of go through their career unscathed, right? But you also have to be tested at times. So you talk about Spence, Ugas, Garcia, Porter, Mikey Garcia, Peterson destroyed Brook, Chris Algieri, Pereira, and Cruz. Now you're talking about, some guys past their prime. For Bud, Porter, Brook, Khan, Benavidez, Horn, right? Diaz, Gamboa.
So why was it Sean Porter past his prime when he fought Errol Spence?
Well, it's not. So it's interesting you bring that up, because think about it. The argument now will be made, look how those two fights went. So for instance, how did Bud beat Porter? How did Earl beat Porter? I think that's what people are trying to do. They're trying to connect the dots in that regard and saying, all right, well, if you stop this guy, you knock him down a couple times in the 10th and you put him in retirement, that's a lot more impressive than, say, winning via a split decision in a fight where Larry Hazard had it going one way, and then obviously the other judges saw it the other way. I mean, listen, Porter's a tough opposition, but again, you're sending a guy in retirement. So now are you going to sit there and say he's already been through the wars prior to that fight, so I don't give any credence to you defeating him in that fashion? Or are you still going to say, look at the body of work, that's an impressive fight?
I think both guys has below average body of work. I mean, that's just saying like what it is. 147 isn't what it used to be. It's not what it used to be. New 147 won't get popping again until Tank and all of those guys are in there. If they don't fight at 35. 147 is sorry as hell, man.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. And think about this, the way when the opening odds came out, well, first of all, since Crawford's gone up, he's basically stopped all his opponents in 7 fights. So if you're talking about, KO power percentage of 147, is he going to knock out Spence? No. Is Spence going to knock out him? I don't believe that's going to be the case. I think this is going to be a fight that ultimately comes down to the scorecards, right? It's going to go.
It's going to be a unanimous decision.
Okay. I don't want to ask you right now when the fight.
I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you. I don't have a problem with saying that. Terence Crawford will beat Errol Spence. He will dominate him through 12 rounds.
So it opened at plus 360, plus 550. I think now it's 180 for Spence to win on the scorecards. Crawford at 185, which kind of tells me the bookies, the odds makers, think it's going to be a close fight.
I'll take any bet the odds makers got if they're going to go against Terence Crawford.
I mean, you say that with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I think he's the better fighter. I think he's a better fighter. He has better skills.
Smarter fighter
in the ring. The boxing IQ is huge.
Yeah.
I like Errol. I like I like watching Errol fight, but he stands in concrete. He stands in concrete, want to fight inside. He's just there to be hit.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he beat Ugas, but Ugas had him hurt.
Yeah.
He had him hurt twice.
Yeah, and I think also too, they'll make the case, look at him post car accident and whatnot, and how he came back, and he looked good against Garcia in the quote tune-up fight. I mean, even if you look at the tail of the tape, right? 2 southpaws. Spence is 5'9.5" on a good day. Bud's 5'8", so it's not like Spence really comes in with the height advantage, the reach advantage. But to your point, I think Bud's his ring acumen, his ring IQ, he should be able early on to just kind of frustrate Spence, especially if Spence is going to come forward and try to be the more aggressive.
He's going to be stopped.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he's going to get stopped. I'm just saying the first couple rounds, I think the first couple rounds, let me get this guy out of rhythm. Like, let me not be a willing dance partner with him. I'm not going to give him anything those first couple rounds and then frustrate him. And I think that bodes well for Crawford.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Errol coming forward with his aggressive mentality and the way he does things, I think that'll be a perfect time for a knockout. Just coming forward for any fighter is not good, especially when Terence Crawford can fight as good as he can fight on a retreat. And I think it's gonna be a lopsided dub for Bud. I just think he's the better fighter.
So you see Spence basically chasing him around the ring, but Crawford on the bicycle fighting backwards, doing what he needs to do, keeping out of harm's way and just kind of pecking, getting inside. I mean, that's the other thing. Who's got to get inside in this fight early? Like if you were to look,
Errol's gonna have to find a way to get inside.
yeah.
It's the only way he can beat him. He's not going to stand up there in sweet science and try to pick his shots and perform great boxing skills against Terence Crawford. He's just not going to be able to beat him like that.
So then everything you're saying, aside from who you like in the fight, when we looked at the body work and the resume, I get the sense, and again, you'll probably say, yeah, because you said it. I get the sense you don't see any juice in this fight, but it seems as though the boxing community, the boxing world, we've been waiting for this fight, have we not? But in your estimation,
I've been waiting for it too. I plan on canceling my whole life to go to that fight when when they were talking about fighting her, the first time.
Yeah.
Make all my plans, but I'm making my plans contingent on this fight. So if you have something going on this weekend and that fight doesn't happen, I'll be there. But I'm going to commit and tell you I'm going to come. But if that fight happens, I'm pulling out. I'm not going to come on the fight. That's how I was making plans. Right. I wanted to go to the fight. And I still want to go to the fight. But my thing is, I paid $3,500 for my wife and I to go watch Floyd Mayweather fight Miguel Cotto. Right? I respect these fighters. I am not going to take anything away from them. They get in the ring with their life on the line every time they're in there, right? But I am not going to pay more than $3,500 to watch them fight because not either one of those guys are Floyd. I paid $3,500 for Floyd. I'm not paying more than $3,400 to watch them fight, and there is no tickets on the floor for that price, so I'm not going.
So then it goes back again to the resume and the body of work. None of these fighters, they might be skilled fighters in your eyes, and obviously on the path to Hall of Fame status, but you're not. It sounds like you're not impressed with their body of work, their resume.
No, I'm not. I'm not impressed with either one of the body of work. I like Bud. I like the way he fights because I'm a sweet science guy. Bud is a counter puncher. He can fight coming forward. He fight better going backwards. That's the type of guy. That's the type of boxer I like to watch. I just think for his style, I think Errol is tailor made for him.
So let's just say Bud defeats Spence. It goes to the scorecards or however you want to. I mean, look right now, money line Spence -112. Actually, they're both at -112. KO, TKO, Bud's at +360, Spence at 500. And then the obvious would be points decision, +160 Spence, Bud -210. So it tells you right there that he is, the favorite in this one. Because again, think about it. You got to lay those numbers. If Crawford wins, then what's next? I mean, because you talked about a division that you don't like, that you're not impressed
what is next?
Right now.
Who's at 154 he can fight? Who's there? See, yeah, Rich, the fact that you have to sit there and think about that in today's society, boxing is not really much. It's not really much out there. Who's at 154 that's worth for him? That's worth going for Bud to go up and fight. I mean, because I doubt after Charlo fight at 168, he's not going to come back down to 154 unless he get absolutely annihilated and realize that it's too much for him, which I don't see happening.
Yeah, I think some of these fights should have made it years ago, 147. That's just the way I look at it. Like, for instance, look at Boots Ennis. How come nobody wants to fight Boots Ennis? He's at 147. He's a good Philly fighter. He's fighting in my backyard in Atlantic City, I think sometime in August. But, you can look at him and say, here's a guy that probably missed a boat on a couple big time opponents and big time paydays and pay-per-view because nobody wanted to fight him. So I just think we're at you're very high on 135.40. You've already expressed that. So I think we're kind of at a crossroads when we start to look at 147, 154, middleweight, super middleweights. It's almost as though it's kind of ran its course. Would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think with boxing, man, just let's go down to 135. You know, you got Shakur, you got Tank, you got Devin, you got Lomachenko, you got some good fighters there, right?
Yeah.
And even with those fighters, even with those guys, I don't think that big fight between all of those guys will be made till they get to 47, which is two weight classes from now, which could be 4 years, three,
What?
4 years from now.
Why do you believe that?
Because that's where all the big time fights has happened. That's where all the big money fights has happened at 147. If you go back to the last 10, 15 years, 20 years and look, those are right there, but there are not any money fights at 30. It's not any money fights at 35. There was no money fights at 40. The money fights was out of the same guys who fought at 40, same guys who was in 35 together. Those are the same fighters that made the money at 47.
Yeah. Well, listen, is it possible if Crawford wins, he fights Ennis?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. See, I think Bud got another fight or two left in him at 147.
So now
I think this is it, Daryl.
You got an ascending fighter in Duran, right? And then you get Bud his last fight or two. But then again, 3 years from now, we're going to have the conversation. Well, Boots Ennis beat an old Bud Crawford or a fake.
He's not going to beat him, though.
Well, listen, he's a very good fighter, Ennis.
I like him, bro. He's a great fighter. But he's not going to beat, bro. He's not going to beat Bud, though.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up. I'm just looking at 147 right now.
There's nothing there, Rich.
Well, there's always fights to be made, but to your point, are these fights worthy of, say, $69, $79 a pay-per-view? Are they going to draw a ton at the gate? Are we going to see big time numbers in the pay-per-view? I mean, some of the fights that we have coming up, I pulled it up before we went on the air. You've got Navarrete against Valdez. That's August 12th. Canelo Charlo, we already talked about. That's Showtime pay-per-view. Boots and Villa, that's in Atlantic City, July 8th. I think that's for Duran's IBF interim belt. And then obviously you got Spence, you got Crawford. I mean, there's other fights there, but I don't know. I just think it's a goofy time for boxing. And I've said this before, and I keep belaboring the point. I also think that opinions are influenced by what we see, read, or hear on social media, right? Guy gets dropped, he's a bum. Whatever happened to Danny Garcia? What happened to Mikey Garcia? You know, all those years, never really was rep, never had a legit promoter, couldn't get fights. You know, oh, look at Teofimo Lopez, right? You know, look what's going on in Berlanga. All right, Shakur, you know, he's boring to watch. Oh, wait, now he looks like he's got something. Haney. And I just think a lot of that has to do with social media and almost like sours you. You almost like, after a while, it's like, I don't care. Like all this crap about, oh, you know what, get rid of some of these belts and stop it. I don't give a shit. Why does it bug people so much and bothers them so much? Are they that fanatical when it comes to the fight game that they sit there and look, no problem living and breathing it, but after a while, like, just friggin' relax, man. If the fights are going to get made, the fights are going to get made. It's not because,
I saw one guy say something about that's why it should be one belt. And you get everybody to fight. That's not necessarily true. If they're getting paid the type of money, if I'm gonna get paid $15 million for a fight,
bingo.
And there's no belt on the line, I'm perfectly okay with that.
Of course you are.
Versus going to fight for 8 or 9 million with a belt. No, I'm good. I'll take the 15.
Yeah, of course. And who won it?
You got to turn around and pay the commissioner, the WBC. Well, I know the WBO was like $3,000 to host their belt.
Yeah, that's
I watched Kendall cut that check
to
them to have to get that belt. He won it, beat Ricardo Torres, but he still had to pay $3,000 for the belt and had to pay fees the whole time he had it. It was like a $75 or $80 fee, like all the time. You have to keep doing that. Like, nah, I earned this belt.
That's like saying when you guys won 2 Super Bowls that you got to throw $5,000 because now you have each player, because now you have the Lombardi trophy. Like, serious, or your Super Bowl ring. I'm sorry. That's a better example. Your Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, that's so I don't get it, man. The belts are irrelevant. take the belts out and go with money, man. That's all I can say.
Did you hear what Bradley said about banning father and son duos and
Yeah, I posted that on Instagram and I tagged him in it, and I didn't get anything from him yet. So my question to him was why, and I tagged him in it. But I really want to know why he thinks that that's an issue in boxing.
Well, I pulled, so think about this: Loma, Haney, Lopez, Garcia, Ennis, not bad careers, right? Father and son. Even if you go back now, conversely, the flip side of that coin is Floyd, right? Sugar Shane, De La Hoya. Those relationships we can say kind of imploded. But then I can go back and I can look at Lenny and Ray Mancini. I can look at Julio Cesar Chavez and his son. I can give you other examples. I mean, I guess his argument was that be in the corner, but you can't basically be the trainer because you're blinded by the fact that it's your kid and you don't know if or when to throw the fight or throw in the towel and save the fighter, right? Separate yourself. Now I can give you one of the toughest examples in our backyard was Bill Johnson, whose son Levander Johnson, probably the best fighter to come out of Atlantic City, when his last fight, unfortunately, many years ago, really took a beating and ultimately succumbed to the injuries and passed. And I'll never forget at the time, I think it was one of the talking heads on HBO, pretty much give it to Bill Johnson. And I can tell you firsthand experience in speaking to him, and he's been a trainer for a lot of years in the Atlantic City pound, the Atlantic City area. You know, the mindset is my son's a fighter. This is what he does. And it's after the fact, Monday morning quarterback, and hey, could we have stopped it? Well, if you look at a fighter's body of work, or you look to maybe see who's refereeing the fight or how much punishment they absorb, or if they're throwing back, if they're allowed to keep going. I mean, we just saw this last week in the fight with Williams, and Breadman Edwards was going nuts because the fight was stopped. Like, there's that fine line. So I guess maybe to Bradley's point is, if you're managing or in your corner with your son, or you're training him, or you're his trainer, how do you separate yourself? The father says, I don't want to see this kid take a beating anymore. But then the trainer mindset, keep going out there. Or is it the other side where, hey, come on, son, you have another round or two in you. And I can see his argument, but I can also make a case that it's worked out before with other fighters, and they won belts and they won championships.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a problem in boxing. I mean, I really don't. I mean, who better knows you than your father, especially if it's something your father been in it with you for from the beginning. I think it's actually a good thing. I mean, I wish everybody had a father that can train them in boxing, because nobody knows them better than their dad.
Yeah.
But it's a good idea.
But again, with that being said, does your judgment become impaired a little bit? Are you blind a little bit?
No, my judgment. So let's put me in the ring as a trainer with my son.
Well, you're an exception to the rule, right? If you think the way you think, but again, his point is maybe not everyone thinks like Brandon Jacobs. So your kid's in there and he's doing well for the first couple rounds, but then he gets floored in the fourth or fifth, and he's a young fighter. You live to fight another day. He's taking a beating just because he threw his hands in round 5 or 6. You're going to let him continue?
I'm throwing a towel. I'm not going to watch my kid take some kind of punishment. And I know from the very beginning of the fight, seeing the way it went up until the time he get floored, that's going to determine whether or not I throw the towel or not. If he getting hit clean from the first round to the 5th round, getting caught clean with some jabs and, just some things that, not really hurting him. But then again, you throw a right hand and catch him clean, put him down. Then he gets up and you catch him again and put him down. I'm throwing the towel out.
Yeah, there's
now if he's trading blows for 5 rounds, he's in that trading blows for 5 rounds, and you don't know who's winning these rounds. You get floored, well, God, guess what? Son of a bitch, you got to get up. You got to get back in there. But if it's a sheer domination, no, I'm throwing that thing.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of the rub, right? I remember, years ago, I think it was Frazier's kid, Joe was in the corner, Marvin Frazier, and it's just you got, in that case, it was a bloodbath, and you have to protect you got to protect your fighter, who in this case happens to be your son. Yeah, it's tough, man, because I think also the other thing that's rubbing people the wrong way is these early stoppages. But I can tell you from calling as many fights as I call, it's so subjective, man. It really is at the end of the day. Like, you might get a couple rounds, and on the local circuit, you get pretty much the same referees up and down the East Coast in Philly, New York, PA, New Jersey. You know how they're going to call the fight. You know how they're going to control the fight. Like, there are some that have um, that will step in, like Sean Clark in the Philly area, very good referee. But if you're not showing him anything 4 or 5 rounds in and you're taking some punishment, he
They gonna
jumps
call it.
right.
Yeah.
Eric Dolly a little more. We'll watch closely, but he'll be far away. And again, show me something. I remember, Smoger, for years, the late count, so to speak, right? But he'll let some fighters go. Now there are a couple examples where he probably should have stepped in a little earlier. Every referee is a little different. So I think it's subjective, but that's when people get pissed off when they're watching a fight and they think the fight was stopped too soon. Now, there are major examples of that, and we've seen that, but it's boxing, right? I mean, it's discretionary by the referee.
Yeah. It's that or your trainer.
Yeah.
It's just like you're looking in there and seeing these guys, like it's like that Vasquez Marquez fight, Israel Vasquez against what's his name, Marquez. You know what I'm talking about? Those 3 battles they had. And if I was a referee, I wouldn't know which way to throw the towel. One of them will land 2 or 3 good shots, buzz the other one, he staggers. He hit the other one that's staggering and throw something wild, catch him, stagger him. It's like, what are we doing here? So it was kind of hard for the referee to make a decision then because they were killing each other.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think, and another thing I see with boxing is a lot of these fights that they're having. Let's go to Lomachenko and Devin Haney. There's no way, shape, or form that Lomachenko lost that fight how they say he did. I would have gave that fight a draw. I think boxing's got.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I think because Devin Haney he's the younger fighter out of the two. I think it's easier to make him look better by giving him a draw. I mean, by giving him the fight versus a draw, because he got to go on and try to again continue to make a career for himself. Lomachenko was almost out the door, so I just think it was a little bit. I think that decision was a little bit more political than for real.
Yeah, so I do the fights, as you know, sometimes in Philly with Steve Cunningham, and we were talking about this the last time we did a broadcast, and he asked me what I thought, and I said, well, first of all, I watch a fight, I'll watch it several times, but the first time I watch it, I just watch it, sound on, and I just watch it. Second time I watch it, sound on, and I go through the rounds. Third time I watch it, I turn the volume off, right? And to your point, you're right. I mean, it was a controversial 12-round unanimous. See, that's the problem, right? Because if all of a sudden I'm saying, wait a second, there were a couple rounds, and people don't like the terminology swing rounds, but it could have went certain ways. I could easily have saw Loma winning that fight. Like, I could have scored it in his favor, right? Yeah. Or I could have scored it a draw as well. But it's extremely subjective. What are we looking at, right?
I'm looking at, so if I'm judging the fight,
yeah,
I'm going off of pressing.
Yep.
And busy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so hold on. Pressing, busy. So early on, Haney, body work, jab, moving in, busy, clean shots, effective. So he's banking early rounds right off the top.
Right.
Okay, so go ahead.
But then he got caught in like the 4th.
Yeah.
He got away from that. He was trying to survive then at that point. And from that point forward, he wasn't really doing anything special. He wasn't throwing his hands, he wasn't letting his hands go as much. He wasn't pressing the action as much. He was only trying to look to retreat and not be hit. So he probably run another round. or two. But everything else after that, I got to go with Lomachenko.
But see, go back to what you just said. He's moving around, he's running around, he doesn't want to get hit. If you believe you're winning the fight, isn't your job to not get hit?
Yeah, but if you got 6 rounds of fight left and you're running for 6 rounds,
But that's a different story. You're right. Well, round 10 and 11, too. I don't know if you remember those rounds, but I pulled it up. So that's when I thought Loma started to separate himself. And those are your championship rounds. Because think
right.
about it. What do you remember from the majority of these fights? If there was bang, boom, boom early on, or if there was bang, boom, boom late in the fight. And if you go back and you look at the latter stages of the fight, then of course you would look at 10, 11, and 12. Round 12 was close. 116, 112, though. 115, 113, either way, you know, that's.
Yeah, that was off, man.
But B, that's boxing. Like, we can sit here and talk till we're blue in the face. There have been horrible judging and scoring since the dawn of time, right? So
yeah.
Everyone complains and they bitch about it and they cry about it. I mean, personally, I had it 115, 113 for low. But what are you going to do about it? What like
that's why Teddy Atlas left it alone. He couldn't take it anymore. Oh, Theodore. My guy. I love Teddy, man. But boxing, I don't know, man. I still love the sport. I don't think there's much more ability out there outside of the guys in 35.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, you mentioned Teddy Atlas, quick Teddy Atlas story. So I did 96th, 97th, 98th Golden Gloves for Broadway boxing for DeBella. So they had me, DeBella, and Teddy Atlas calling fights. How many words do you think I got in during the broadcast? Now, mind you, I'm the blow-by-blow guy. I had Teddy and then Lou. How much do you think I was able to talk? Not a lot. At all. So, but nope, I think we lost B. Uh-oh, he might have to reconnect. Uh-oh. He's got that frozen look on his face. So we'll see if we can punch him up. I think. Let me just he's scared. Let me see. Oh, there he is. Now he's popping back on. There you are. I thought for a minute I froze you, and I was like, all right, you got a pissed off look. So I was saying it was me.
No, you was frozen too. I got a video of it. I got a video of it.
It's me, Atlas, and DeBella calling the fight. How many words do you think I got in?
Barely any. Teddy can talk. And yeah, like that.
I think I said, all right, round 5, here we go. We'll close in on round 6. Yeah, I mean, look, there's some good fights, I think, coming up, but it's just
who's coming up? Charlo.
I mean, I gave you
Charlo.
Yeah, I gave
Crawford.
You Navarrete's fighting Valdez. We got Crawford, Spence. We got Charlo. We got Boots. I mean, they're not, again, to some.
I like the heavyweights, honestly.
You already know how I feel.
Jared Anderson is getting ready to fight against Charles. I think that's going to be a good one. That's going to be Jared's toughest. I think that's his name. I think that's going to be his toughest fight yet. This Saturday.
I'm not enamored by the heavyweight division, like 135, 140, 147. And again, we've always said this, right? When are you looking for that next great American heavyweight?
As long as Tyson Fury's out there, you ain't gonna get it.
Who's he fighting next?
Huh?
Who's he fighting next?
Should be fighting God. So it's the only person that can beat him.
If you did the tail of the tape, does God have the reach?
The reach, the height, everything, toughness. Yeah. Boxing is, I don't know, man. I'm gonna watch it every time it's on. But as far as paying for a ticket to go watch the fight, or paying $70 or paying $70 for a pay-per-view, I'm not doing that.
No. I don't 79, 89. I mean, I'm looking at some of these. I mean, think about this. You even got Jake Paul fighting Nate Diaz. That's
I'm
on.
going. I'm going to that fight. By the way,
That's in Dallas.
cause
August
it's
5th.
comedy. I ain't going for boxing purposes. I'm going for comedy. I'm going to laugh and watch them get at each other, do all the dirty shit in the ring, try to fight after the fight's over with, fights in the stands. Like that's what I'm going to watch.
Oh, how about this? I got a Danny Garcia fight. I forgot he's fighting Lara. August 5th in New York.
Who?
Showtime. Danny Garcia, Orlando Lara against Danny
Swift?
Garcia. Lara, Lara, Orlandi, Lara.
Swift Garcia?
Yeah, Danny Garcia.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
12 rounds.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
Whatever happened to
You
him?
said in New York?
Yeah, that's
When?
same night you're going to be laughing at Jake Paul, August 5th in Brooklyn.
I mean, should have. I mean, I'd rather
Showtime.
go. I ain't because that ticket's not going to be so stupid. Nobody's, paying crazy guap like that to go watch Danny Garcia fight Lara.
No, I know. Hey, real quick, we'll touch on the NFL next week, but you've been following all the free agency tracker movement in the NBA.
No. See a lot of guys getting some money they don't deserve, like Draymond Green.
100 million. He wasn't going to take it. He wasn't going to take a discount.
I mean, that's too much, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, I haven't really been paying attention to it, man. Haven't really been paying attention to sports in general, other than boxing.
Nothing with NFL. Did you go up to Giants camp at all?
Mm-hmm. I did.
Yeah. How was the vibe up there?
It was good, man. Coach, I mean, sitting down talking with the coaches, everything. I like it. I like what they got going on. I think this season will be better than it was last year.
We'll talk NFL next week because I want to get your.
It just all depends on the center that we just drafted.
Oh,
that center if he can play, if he can hold his own, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, like anything else, it's always the offensive line, right? I mean, I was watching the other night. They had 2011 on the road divisional matchup against 15-1 Green Bay Packers, and I totally forgot what a horrible non-call they had on a fumble, and you guys lost a challenge. It was horrible. I think it was not Driver. It might have been horrible. Just like so blatant and obvious fumble. Ugh.
Yeah, but we won the Super Bowl anyway, so
that's all that matters.
They can have that little shit.
You guys actually waxed them in that game.
38-20.
That was the Hail Mary. I think one of the most underrated plays in that game was prior to that, Ahmad Bradshaw, presence of mind, getting out of bounds.
Yeah.
Saving a second or two on the clock.
Bulldog. Yeah. He's a great running back, man. People always ask me about him. So he was good. He was everything and then some. He was as advertised. Boy was good. Short, I should say, low to the ground, which create balance, quickness. He was strong. He ran hard, had power. Had good hands out the backfield. He was a total package running back, man. I take my hat off to him every day. The boy was special.
We're going to blink, and college football is right around the corner.
Yeah, it is right around the corner. You know me. I'm going with LSU before the season starts.
Just like that.
Wow. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. My buddy sent me this. I'll show you this real quick. He goes, send this to Brandon.
I've been seeing that. Pop up. I've been seeing that thing pop up, man.
Not a bad backfield, man.
No, we was loaded. They just didn't know how to use us.
Was that
I would say they didn't know how to use us. It just wasn't enough football, man.
Is that 2003?
2003 season, yeah.
Loaded.
We started the season We were preseason ranked #1, and USC came in there and spanked us. We ended up going 8-5 that year.
Ooh.
Yeah, preseason ranked #1. People had us picking one at all because of our backfield.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't know what to do with it. I wouldn't know what to do with it either. Like, how do you make everybody happy? So because I went in, I was in junior college when I went there. So because I went in and was automatically after those two, I didn't really make a big fuss about it. I was like, all right, cool. I made a decision to come here. I know full well what was in front of me, but cool, I got it, I understand. That's it.
You transferred next year, right? Southern Illinois?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Transferred there. The time of my life. I had to go to Southern Illinois with all the guys I went to junior college with. And we had two of our coaches that just got jobs at Southern Illinois from junior college. I was like, hell, just gonna go here. When I went visited up there, came back, made a decision, and off we went.
If you would have stayed at Auburn, do you think you would have been drafted?
Yeah, I've been drafted.
But what round do you think?
Maybe the 6th round, late
round?
7th, something like that. But I've been drafted. We ain't just gonna leave no ability like that.
Fair point. Fair point. Fair
You're
point.
not gonna just do that.
Wait, you
I was
fourth?
the best of the rest when the draft started.
What round did you go?
4th.
That's a steal.
Hey, I was the best of the rest before they picked Alex Smith. Just being honest, man, I felt like I was the best one in the draft.
Hey, listen, nothing wrong with that.
I felt like I was the best overall athlete in the draft.
Wow.
And I mean that. Big, strong, fast, quick.
That was
I truly feel like that.
Was that 2000 and what?
5.
2005. Pulling it up right now. Ronnie Brown, Braylon Edwards.
#2.
Wow. How about this? This is a rarity, right? Brown, Cedric Benson, and Cadillac. 3 running backs in the top 5.
In the top 5 to the 2005 draft, man.
That's crazy.
Yes, it is crazy.
And in the 2nd round, the only running back drafted, Eric Shelton.
I think Eric went to Louisville, I want to say. Where'd he go?
Florida State and Louisville. Correct. Nice.
Oh.
And then, how about this?
You got JJ Arrington. I thought he went the 2nd round.
Hold on. Maybe I missed him.
Went to Arizona.
Oh, correct. I'm sorry. I apologize. I glossed over. He was a good back. I glossed over JJ.
Yeah, him and then Frank Gore, I think, went 3rd round.
There you go. Frank Gore, 3rd round. Ryan Moats.
4th round.
No.
He went 3rd round.
With 3rd round. Yep. Cup of coffee with the Eagles. And Maurice Claret. I forgot about that.
He went before me.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah, I was number 8 running back. I think it was.
Can you hold on a second? Do you know who went before you?
Yeah, all the ones you just mentioned, and Maurice Claret, and I think
No. The pick before you. I'm sorry. The actual pick before you got drafted. Dallas.
Marion Barber.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you were drafted by the Cowboys? Oh,
that probably would have been bad. I would have went.
Well,
I would not have pulled the Eli Manning. I would have went. I ain't have the type of power Eli had, so How about them damn boys? That's what I'd have been saying. I hate the Giants. Giants, I hope that whole stadium blow
Get
up.
out of here.
You know
No
what I'm saying? It
way.
would have been like the flop.
That is hilarious. Yeah. Marion, 109. And then with the 110 pick in the fourth round.
The New York Football Giants select him,
That's
who should have been the first pick.
I still say the original beast. No disrespect to Marshawn Lynch, because you were like that 3, 4, 5 yards out.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you watch a game on TV, they'd be like, oh, you know, so he's a big kid, Southern Illinois. You know, sometimes I hear 6'7", then
Could
I
you
hear
believe he's
6'9".
a back? The Giants didn't change his position. He's running back. I thought they'd change his position, maybe put him on the D line, try him out as some tight end. These kids playing running back. Yeah. Wish the Giants would have tried that out and asked for a trade off rip. Man, trade me. Please. I want to go play running back. I've been working on my craft all my life. Don't get me here at the end. Don't get me here at the pinnacle and change my position.
That's what there was talk about doing that.
No, Giants play no, they wasn't. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like people like Cincinnati Bengals, the Denver Broncos. Who else was it? Cleveland Browns. They came and worked me out pro day for tight end.
Because of your size. I don't understand that. If you're a natural running back, like, why are they working you out that way?
I told him too at my pro day, Rich. I told him, I said, I will work out for you guys. I will do whatever you want me to do, tight end, whatever you want me to do. But I'm not playing that position. I'm going to do it to show you I can do it. So if that's what you want me to do, don't draft me. But I'll work out for you.
So they had you.
I told them scouts there straight up on the field. The rest of my teammates that were there at pro day, they were like, I can't believe he just told them that. Yeah, I just told him that. I got a little bit more. Yeah, I did because I want to play running back. I don't want to play nothing else but that. So if you got any other agenda outside of me playing running back, then move on.
So you mentioned the 3 teams. I mean, that's pretty ballsy, right? I mean, you don't think that had anything to do with you going in the 4th round?
No. Those teams weren't going to take. Those teams weren't going to take me anyway.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't come and work me out at running back. They came and work me out at something else just to see what they can get out of it.
Makes sense. Yeah. Like, here we go.
They never planned on drafting.
Yeah. Yeah. Stick them special teams, right? What'd they do? They have you line out outside in the slot, blocking. I mean,
line up outside in the slot, blocking drills, running routes, hand in the dirt, stuff like that. More mainly like a lot of offensive lineman type stuff that I was doing.
In your mind when you're doing it, I know you're going all out, but in your mind were you just like, what the fuck, man? What am I doing?
Yeah. So I'm like, I mean, I'm here, I'm running these routes and doing all this stuff. I'm like, this is stupid. I've never ran these routes. But that's what they wanted, man. So that's what I did.
Did the Giants work you out?
No.
Really?
I don't even think the Giants came to my pro day. I mean, I barely heard from the Giants throughout that process. I talked to him at the combine. I talked to Coach Ingram at the combine with Jerry Reese. I mean, Mr. Ernie Corsi at the time. But that was it. I hadn't really even talked to them.
That's interesting, man. I mean, it's just the way things work, right? I mean,
yeah,
could have been drafted by one of those teams, and God forbid you could have been just killing the Giants for years with the Cowboys. I mean, and no disrespect, you know, Barber was a good back, but you were vastly.
Yeah, man. Teak paved the way for me, man. He taught me a lot. The 2 years I played with him, so
yeah, interesting stuff.
That was awesome.
Well, we saw you, catch a couple wheel routes back in the day. You had the one against the Eagles, right? 2000. You had the one against the Cowboys, I think, Sunday Night Football, too, out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Showing a little burst. Number 27.
Pretty good, man. I'm telling you. I try telling people how good I was. They don't believe me.
The film doesn't lie, my friend. The film doesn't lie.
It doesn't. All of these little young kids, like now my son, got my highlights on his phone, and he looks at it. He watches it. Like, Daddy, you for real, for real. I said, yeah, I tried to be, man.
Yeah, I saw you post the other day, and I was like, man, he's a big back. Like you were the type of back you were like looking for contact, you know, like some backs, they, they want to say this, but you were like looking to hit the DB or the linebacker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just hit them before they hit you.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you. I know you're coming. I'm going to bring to you. A lot of them used to try to creep up when I wasn't looking.
Yeah.
Try to make a play, but I had to, Rich. I mean, I want to try to take him, like take his heart out.
I know you always said your biggest hit was against Washington, but for me, I'll put my fan hat on for a moment. I still think 2007, the Woodson hit, because to me, even though it was a couple yards, it set the tone for that whole game. That's just me. I know you'll say it was.
It definitely got everybody going. Coaches, players,
Yeah.
like even one of the referees. So we got a game tonight, fellas. Let's go. Everybody was ready to go.
Yeah. How cold was it that night, by the way?
It wasn't that bad. Oh yeah, that one, yeah.
Seven.
26 to 28 degrees. It was so bad. It was so bad out there. But we played through it, man.
Yeah.
The chance to playing this to go get a chance to go play in 80 degrees. Hold my beer. Hold my beer. Let's go.
All right, brother. We'll get into a little NFL, a little offseason NBA next week. But what you got cooking for the rest of the I see, and you post, I see, what do you do? The shellfish? What do you got there? The crab or the shell or I see you cooking
Crawfish.
Crawfish.
Yeah. I do that, man. I'm human when it comes to that. I do that. Southern Louisiana in my blood, man. I got to know how to boil crawfish. If you don't know how to boil crawfish and you from Southern Louisiana,
Fraudulent, fake.
Yeah.
Fugazi.
And the reason why I say that, because everything from every cuisine, like every type of cuisine from South Louisiana, ain't no measuring. They just throwing shit in there, tasting it until they get there. So crawfish is you take a whole bunch of shit and throw it in there and let it go. Let it burn, let it boil for 8 minutes and turn the fire off and let them soak in the season for 20 minutes. You get them out, you eat.
Yeah, I like that. You got a passion for cooking, man. That's all right. I saw a video the other day. I thought there were two alligators in Florida, man, just walking down the street minding their own business.
That's Florida for you, man.
Swamplands.
Yes, sir.
See that video of the guy that put his hand with the shark?
Yeah. Trying to get something, that shark can't grab his hand. In murky water, you would never think a shark would do that, but that's probably was a big bull shark who can swim in fresh water.
And his buddy said, I want to do that. His buddy said, I want to do that. He's like, a couple seconds ain't going to make a difference. Boom.
I'm talking about as soon as he put his hand in there.
Yeah. You can't
mess with it. It wasn't just playing around, none of that. It was just like, oh.
No, it's
crazy.
It's like getting your hand smacked when you go up top where mama hides the cookies. You can't do that.
I want to go to Australia and get in the cage and see great whites.
Oh. No,
why not? You're in a cage.
Go to an aquarium. You can tap on.
I don't want to see a great white behind the glass. I have a great white shark in an aquarium, Rich. It would never that.
No, I'm not doing that.
I want to. And I also want to swim. I also want to swim with orcas.
Where can you do that?
Australia.
That's a long ass flight.
It is, but I definitely want to make it.
Swim with the sharks in a cage?
I'm going to swim with the sharks, dead or alive. Because if I die tomorrow, my wife is going to travel her ass to Australia and get in the water with me. I mean, with those ashes. First orca she sees, she's going to dump it out right on his ass. He'd be
Now
stuck
you
with me.
now you're taking it to now you're taking it to another level. So you want to be cremated. I thought maybe you want to go on a stadium, but you want to go in the water, in the
Well,
ocean.
I do want to be cremated because cremated is so much less emotional distress on your family.
Yeah, it's tough open casket.
Yeah, because if you think about it, you pass away,
Yep,
they cry,
correct.
they cry, 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 cry.
Yes.
The day you pass away, you got the day after, the day after, the day after. People are getting better. Then there's the funeral with the body in front of the building.
It's a tough day.
Everybody loses it again.
It's a tough day.
One time. When I die, you're gonna lose it once. After that, I'm not gonna make you drag me into a church and do all this praying over me and everybody screaming and hollering and too much.
Yeah. Cremate, sprinkle me, call it a day.
Yeah.
Those are
I'm
your
talking about soon as you get the urn, like don't even put it on the mantle. Soon as you get it, go straight to the plane. I want to do this in between 48 to 72 hours after I die, if that's the case.
Well, that's many, many, many moons from now, right?
Yeah,
So
I hope so.
Good juju, always, brother. All right, big man. No, that's what we do. Good juju. The shirt. I'm telling you, put the guns. The guns are just.
Man, I'm actually overweight right now.
What are you? 265?
No, 280. Yeah, overweight right now.
You got guns, and I got pellets. Okay, I got
I
pellets.
have guns. I have these guns.
Oh, pellets.
I have these guns. I got guns. I got all kinds.
Well, we know you were still upset Santa wasn't good to you.
Yes, and I still haven't gotten it, but I found somebody to get it for me. I just have to pay her money, and she'll get it. She'll give it to me. 44 Smith and Wesson. That's what I want. The Desert Eagle, I guess you call it, and an AR-15. Those are the two guns I want.
The AR-15 just makes me laugh. You say it like it's a stick of gum.
Hey, that's what I want, man.
Okay, listen. That's why there's.
I want it. I don't want it for anything. I just want it just to have it because I think the guns are cool.
Yeah.
You're not going to see me with it though, because I have guns now. You're never. No one has seen me with my John Morant on. Hey, no.
The water pistol. All right, brother. Tell the people what they need to know.
Well, I haven't said a lot in a long time to you beautiful people. So yes. Have a great Friday. Friday. It's Saturday.
Yes,
Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great humanities. Yes, sir. No, sir. Please. And fucking thank you. Be easy. Peace, folks.
Hold on a second. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't your birthday coming up?
It's my birthday today.
So, okay.
I changed it. I changed my birthday, Rich.
Okay. Can I wish you a happy birthday today?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
But you didn't.
But
you asked, could you wish me a happy birthday? You didn't say anything.
Blessings always. Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I want you to have many, many more. I was getting excited. I was going to shoot you the text in a couple of days, but now that you told me it's today, then there's no reason for me to even put it on my phone.
Yeah, I changed my birthday from the 6th to the 1st. And if people could identify, if certain people could identify as things they want to identify as, then I can change my birthday from the 6th to the 1st. Yeah, people going, genderless, then I could change my birthday. Right? Wrong? True? False? Yes or no?
You can do
right or wrong.
It's free will. You do whatever.
Absolutely.
So will you get presents in a couple of days or today?
I would never get presents.
What about well wishes, texts, birthday cards,
phone calls,
correspondence, pigeons that come and say, happy birthday, B?
That will be on my birthday because that's what people know from Facebook. They're going to see it pop up and they're going to send me birthday wishes.
Well, how about this? Then technically, I could have been the first one to wish you a happy birthday today.
You are, you are. Because no one, well, other than my wife, she said, well, your new birthday. So it's your birthday and happy birthday. Even my friends are taking me out tonight.
There, well, happy new birthday on this day on the 1st, and you
I
might
will
get a
never,
text in a couple
I
days.
will never have the July 6th represent my birthday ever again.
Okay, I'll just say hi to you that day. Don't worry about it.
My God.
The two-time looking fit Super Bowl champ, number 27, Brandon Jacobs. I'm Rich
Got
Quinones.
it.
Thanks for checking us out on this edition of 27 Q. We'll pop it up on the YouTube channel. Big man, we'll do it again next week. Always appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir, brother. Thank you. It was good to see you, man.
You too, man. Be well.